Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As ladies and gentlemen, Brad Garlinghouse continues to cement himself as the best CEO in crypto. Brad Garlinghouse got a article written about him on CoinDesk nonetheless. The Maxis finally gave him some credit, and he's been named 2023's comeback king with XRP's win over the SEC. But guys, what's so beautiful is that they gave the XRP army credit. They finally gave us credit. It feels amazing for the mainstream headlines to read something favorable for XRP, and I believe it's very possible that over the coming months, there's going to be a complete 180 narrative shift from bashing XRP to promoting it and speaking about it in a positive light. I do think the higher the prices go, the more positive news we're going to get from XRP. And I also think that no other crypto on the planet is going to experience more euphoria than XRP this bull cycle. I believe this to be true for a number of reasons. And a big one of those is because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin having these institutional products on the way is a very special thing. And ladies and gentlemen, specifically, it states from CNBC that a spot Bitcoin ETF is the largest pipe ever built between traditional financial markets and the crypto markets. Regulations, this Bitcoin ETF, an Ethereum ETF, maybe one day an XRP ETF, as well as a Ripple IPO, is making for the perfect storm for this market. And you better believe this is the best opportunity to still get in before it's too late. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't stress to you enough how important it is that you build and research and put your seeds in the right tokens now, because this is where we make the money. A lot of you just tuning in, you are absolutely lucky that you're not too late yet. And specifically, if you subscribe to my OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/thebearablebull, in my most recent videos, I talk about a few gems that are still suppressed at low entries that haven't exploded yet, and a couple others that have done 200x returns already and counting. Guys, this is still your chance to get involved. And know that the bull market's not going to stop anytime soon. There will be retracements, pullbacks, and healthy corrections. But for the most part, 2024 is looking up.
Crypto reporter Mackenzie Sigalo is here to break down the action. Mackenzie, there's never a shortage of maybe reasons or excuses why Bitcoin does what it does. Risk appetites, interest rates, the regulation, possible ETF. What do you see driving it right now?
Hey, good morning, Mike. So, as you said, Bitcoin had been testing that $40,000 level the last few days, finally breached $42,000 earlier this morning, trading at more than 5% in the last 24 hours. Meantime, Ether, the second biggest cryptocurrency by market cap, is back above $2,200. So, a couple of things are happening here. For one, the market, as you mentioned, is expecting to finally see a rate cut in the coming year after recent comments from Fed Chair Powell last week. But really the big thing on everyone's mind are the spot Bitcoin ETFs. Traders are increasingly bullish that the SEC will approve one of those applications by the first quarter of 2024, potentially as early as mid-January. This would allow investors to buy into digital currency directly through the same mechanism that they already use to buy stocks and bond ETFs. So you've got top asset managers, including BlackRock, WisdomTree, and Invesco, that have filed applications with the SEC. And part of why this is so significant, Bernstein points out in a note today that the spot Bitcoin ETFs are really the largest pipe ever built between traditional financial markets and crypto financial markets. They're expecting that 10% of Bitcoin in supply, or around $300 billion, will ultimately be managed by these ETFs by 2028. Meanwhile, crypto-peg stocks also moving higher this morning. Digital asset exchange Coinbase up more than 6%, MicroStrategy more than 7%, and Bitcoin miner Marathon Digital up more than 9%. Also worth noting, Coinbase is that custody partner for a lot of these spot Bitcoin ETF applications. Their stock was up more than 60% in November, Mike. Back to you guys.
Now here, guys, the mainstream media continues to push the Bitcoin narrative. And this is why I've brought Waters Above Crypto to my channel. And he will be on tomorrow to explain exactly what's likely to happen with the Bitcoin chart and price. Because when the mainstream media starts pumping out FOMO articles and FOMO interviews like this is when you need to have your head on a swivel. CNBC discusses the Bitcoin halving and calls it, for the first time in history, an asset more scarce than gold. Whenever we get the Bitcoin gold comparisons, we see maximum FOMO and greed by retail. And while I am bullish on crypto, I also am very well aware of when they want us to be in and when they want us to be out.
So, question about the halving. I've heard it called the halvening or the halving, but either one. We're getting to that in April, I think, right? Yep. And that's been a bullish thing before. I sort of wonder, is it the same thing, though? Is that already getting priced in, or is there something technical that actually happens that would make it be priced in closer to the event?
So, so what we've seen historically is that the 12 to 16 months after a halvening is the best performance of Bitcoin. So that's what everybody's thinking about. This time might be different because the price of Bitcoin's higher. We now only have, I think it's 900 Bitcoin a day that come out, so that gets cut in half. It's not a lot of Bitcoin, but what it does do is it makes Bitcoin more scarce than gold. So for the first time in history, you have an asset that is more scarce than gold.
In what way more scarce?
Let's call it a stock to flow ratio. So the amount of Bitcoin mined every year divided by the amount outstanding, same with gold. And now there'll be, quote unquote, less Bitcoin than gold mined on a relative basis.
Now, when they start making those gold Bitcoin comparisons, you know they're targeting the boomers, because you best believe BlackRock is dotting their I's, crossing their T's, the Fidelities of the world, the ARCs of the world, the Grayscales of the world. They will get an ETF passed. BlackRock filed an updated version of its spot ETF with the SEC, and I can almost guarantee you they will be approved. But I can almost guarantee you as well that there will likely be a delay. I think one will be passed in March, April. But right now there's a big Bitcoin maxi push to say it's going to be passed by January. While I'll be excited if that happens, I don't think it will. And after you see my video with Waters Above tomorrow, I think you'll all get a better understanding of why. Here, Warren Davidson in Congress is begging people to have to pass the SEC Stabilization Act to fire Gary Gensler, as he reposted Ripple's General Counsel Stu Alderati's recent thread of the SEC's concerning patterns. Oh, the SEC is going to be held accountable, in my opinion. And Tom Emmer is going to be at the forefront. Ripple is going to be used as the example of the good actor in crypto. And every single one of you have front row seats to witness the narrative shift. It already started today with Brad Garlinghouse as the knight in the CoinDesk article. And why, oh why, does that look so familiar to certain things we've seen in this community for a long time? I'm not insinuating anything. I just think it's very interesting. Now guys, to cap off this video for today, I'll leave you with Tom Emmer letting us know about the SEC and the plans he has for giving them less power because of the lack of clarity in these markets. And I think with the SEC domino effect of losing regulatory jurisdiction, we're going to get more laws from Congress passed for this crypto space. And that's going to be one of the most exciting moments in this market. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks to our witnesses for joining us today. When Bill Hinman was the director of the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance, he gave a speech on June 14, 2018, entitled Digital Transactions When Howie Met Gary. In this speech, he famously discussed how tokens can morph from securities to non-securities, and he stated that Ether is not a security. Ms. Panik, you reviewed and commented on drafts of this speech, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
When reviewing a draft, you said that providing, quote, less detail in the speech was better because the concept of a token morphing from a security to a non-security was a new concept and would generate a lot of discussion. Do I have that correct?
I believe so.
So you thought the SEC should give less clarity to the market rather than more. I understand you thought the token morphing concept would generate a lot of discussion, but when the industry complains about a lack of clarity, I see it was a deliberate policy preference. Does the current SEC chair share that view?
So I can't really testify about the current chair's view. What I can say is that the determination whether any particular asset is a security is a facts and circumstances based determination. And what I do as the director of FinHub with my staff is to provide the facts to the folks at the SEC who are making that determination. And it's typically going to be the Division of Corporation Finance.
Reclaiming my time, because that's a perfect segue. Has FinHub issued any guidance since Chair Gensler took office to clarify how the securities laws apply to crypto?
So as I mentioned, FinHub's role is really to be a subject matter expert. So
Reclaiming my time, ma'am. I'm asking a very specific question. Has FinHub issued any guidance?
FinHub typically gets involved with other divisions and offices at the agency who are issuing statements.
Reclaiming my time. I take the answer as no, because it is no. It seems to be enforcement through rulemaking through enforcement action. In his speech, Hinman announced that Ether was not a security, is not a security. Is that your view today?
I can't comment on a particular asset.
Right. Well, just to back up for a second, you provided feedback on the speech, and so did Brett Redfern, who was then the director of the SEC's Division of Trading and Markets. Yet first the SEC argued in court that the speech was Hinman's own personal opinion. Then the SEC argued that the speech was the opinion of only the Division of Corporation Finance, which Hinman led. But why would people across the SEC, from FinHub to the Division of Trading and Markets, comment on a speech that has the views of only one person or only one division? That doesn't make any sense.
I hope you can appreciate that I can't comment on pending matters that are in litigation or investigation.
Okay, fair enough. The Southern District of New York even called the SEC's arguments hypocrisy. That the SEC would argue that the speech is not relevant to the market's understanding of how the SEC will regulate crypto, while it's a fact that Hinman obtained legal advice from SEC counsel in drafting his speech. The court said SEC is adopting its litigation positions to further its desired goal and not out of faithful allegiance to the law. That is what all of us in Congress have seen. The SEC is not adhering to the law. That's why it keeps losing in court. Does the chairman of the SEC tell you to adopt positions to further a specific goal, his own personal goal, rather than allegiance to the law?
Again, I can't comment on any matters that are pending in litigation, but I will say that
I do appreciate it. I reclaim my time. I think you answered the question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back the balance of my